while working with many business leaders, one thing that I have seen is that many of them might have an idea of what the future holds, uh, where are they going, which way, which direction. But there is a definite lack of skills that I have seen when it comes to diagnosing the organization. Now, maybe because they take a very close look at the business, they are involved in the day-to-day operation. But I have seen that the the quality of diagnostic that they will do is not good as compared to the 5-year long-term plan that they make. So while there is a lot of energy spent in the 5-year long-term planning, uh, I don't see this kind of energy being spent in the diagnosing the organization. So how does someone diagnose the organization? Uh, the organizations are classically diagnosed just like a physician would diagnose a particular patient. An organization is diagnosed on 5 parameters. One is revenue. The second is cost. The third is profits. The fourth is working capital. And the fifth is net worth. Why I put this line in between is because the first 3 are available from the profit and loss account, and the balance 2 are available from the balance sheet. So what do you diagnose this for? Very often you will see organizations which are saying that yes, our revenue is going up, but then what about the cost? What about the cost structure? How is the cost configured in the organization? So if the revenue is going up and the cost is going up, then there is an issue. What about profits? Are the profits going up or the profits going down? At what rate is revenue growing? At what rate is cost going? And at what rate is profit growing? It's very important to understand the slope of these 3 lines. Similarly, how much is the working capital that is being required in the firm? As more and more production happens, as the organization grows and more production happens, is the working capital need going up drastically? Is there a better strategy to that the organization has other than the same old outsourcing? And the next is net worth. How is the net worth of the organization growing? If the net worth, which is nothing but an net assets minus net liabilities, if the asset minus liability structure of the organization is not growing, that means the owner's equity is not growing. If owner's equity does not grow over time, there's an issue. And all of this has to be seen over a period of time. Mtl research states that an organization requires 4 years at least to change course and redirect itself. So all of these data points while diagnosing an organization has to be tracked over 4 years. Micro tracking is possible if you have got a very deep insight into the organization. Revenue might mean you can look at the customers, one can look at the product lines, but overall what I'm going to talk here is about the macro view of it. Just by looking at the profit and loss and the balance sheet, how can one understand and diagnose an organization? First, look at the revenue rate of growth and compare that with the cost rate of growth. If the revenue rate of growth is lesser than the cost rate of growth, then the organization is in trouble. You are going to add revenues at reduced costs, at higher cost, which is not a very good scenario. Sooner or later, the organization will get into trouble. So the rate of growth of revenue has to be higher than the rate of growth of cost, at least, if not equal. Second, look at profits. When you look at profits, you look at the rate of growth. Now, if the rate of growth of profit is increasing, say Last year it was 15%, this year it's 17%, next year it's 20%. It's a good growth that we are talking of. But if the rate of growth of profits is not increasing, that means something is not right in the organization. Third, we do we try to do the comparison between working capital requirement and that as a part of overall cost. So if you divide the working capital divided by the cost, if you take the working capital and divide it by the cost, you'll get a ratio. So that particular ratio, is it going up or down over the years? Say if earlier it was 0.5 and that then reduces to 0.4 and 0.3 and 0.2, then that means this organization is being able to better manage its working capital. Even though the cost is going up, its working capital as a ratio of the cost is better managed, which only means that there are some operational improvements, which we might call in management as continuous innovation, etc., etc. But there are some certain operational processes which are being done very well in the organization, as a result of which, while the cost is going up, understand that as the revenue goes up, the cost will obviously go up, but the working capital is better managed. And the last is net worth, and the rate of growth of net worth. Does it grow, and at what rate is it growing? So therefore what we are trying to say is that, are the shareholders getting value? So if the organization is growing well, if it's being managed well, if its financing structure is good, if it's generating enough returns from operations, then obviously the net worth of the organization will grow over time. So what we are saying is that, again, the growth of net worth, is it from 5% to 7% to 10%? So what's the rate of growth of net worth? Now, since these are all rates, you can compare industries or businesses across size, small business, large business. And the integrated, the best thing is that if someone can combine all these four and come up with an integrated number, which then gives an overall feel. The Mtl Business Analysis is a software which has been designed specifically for this purpose, using its own logic and proprietary framework, and it diagnoses organizations over 4 years. Now, when we are diagnosing an organization over 4 years, we are also checking on the consistency of management thought. Now, we have known management or what we call a strategy. We know that management keeps on changing its strategic direction. They might say something, but they do something for 6 months, then abandon that and all. But when you are diagnosing an organization, understand that this kind of diagnostics gives you a good idea of how the organization has been faring in the past, how is it therefore going to fare in the present. Now, Mtl Business Analysis says that if an organization, at the end of all of this, Mtl Business Analysis gives you a unique number for the organization, which ranges between 0 to 20. Now, if an organization grows gets beyond 10 marks in this diagnostic, it says the organization is poised for growth. Anything more than 10, that means 11 to 20, it is poised for growth. This analysis and this framework has been tested and has been found to be robust. So use this analysis, use this framework. It is available on the website of the organization, and ensure that your business is diagnosed well, and you put the same energy in diagnosing your organization as you do in making the long-term 5-year plan.